They used to have the sirens any time. The British were bombing us at that time. And the next house to us received a bomb. Now these were the type of bombs that would go through an apartment and would explode later on, so the building would collapse. We had great fear that the bomb would come down in silence, because all you would hear is a whistle and a bang, and then maybe about 10 seconds later, a terrible explosion, and the whole building would collapse on you. They were the type of destructive bombing that they did. And every time the sirens went, sometimes we would stay for days in a basement, and we had this great fear that we would just suddenly be snuffed out like that. We didn't have any food, you know, we couldn't carry stuff down there really, and it was a terrible experience. I mean, that was a fear that you mentioned. And from time to time, the Arrow Cross people would come. They would line us up in a yard, in a backyard, and a man would come and separate us to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. I heard after the war from other people the same story. When they did this, we never knew which line was a safe line to be on. My grandparents always felt that the children and the women, that these people couldn't be so cruel, they would be given some grace. So they always want to get on that line. I always picked the right line. My grandparents always followed me. I dragged them. I had this skill as a survivor, or this intuition. I remember this experience. I see it before me like a film rolling out. A man came who was cursing. He must have been drunk. In his left hand he was carrying a crucifix with a rosary bead on it, holding it up like this in the air, and the other a stick, and he was beating us. You here, you here, you here. I didn't have fear, but I had no respect for this man. I looked at like the devil walking himself. And that was the last separation. We never saw the people who were on the left line. I was on the right line. So we had a chance to go to the ghetto because of that. But this happened a number of times. We had this fear of this separation each time. Where are they going to take us? Which line are we going to be on? They did this to humiliate us, to drive fear into us. I was not fearful of anything. I was not even fearful of the bombing. I was never afraid of anything.